Today, we're looking at the best alternatives to Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Bikes that give you all the comfort, power, and tech without the premium price tag. Whether you're looking for a solid tour, a mean cruiser, or just a reliable ride that won't break the bank, we've got you covered. And first up on the list, number 5. If the Harley Sportster or Iron 883 has ever caught your eye, but you wanted something with a little more polish, the T120 is your answer. This bike oozes classic styling with a proper British twin-cylinder growl, but unlike some Harleys that shake like an old washing machine, the Bonneville is smooth, refined, and actually comfortable for long rides. The 1200cc parallel twin engine delivers a solid punch, but it's not the kind of power that's trying to rip your arms off, just enough torque to make highway cruising feel effortless. And unlike Harley's budget models, the suspension here actually works on roads that aren't perfectly paved. Now, if you want something with a bit more snap, Speed Twin's what you're looking for. It's got that same 1200cc engine, but turned to be sharper, livelier, and more fun in the corners. Harley's got the Street Bobbin Lowrider S, which are great if you want to make a statement at the gas station, but the Speed Twin, it's built for riding. Lighter, nimbler, and packed with modern tech like ride modes and ABS, it feels just as good tearing up a back road as it does cruising through town. But maybe you're sitting there thinking, yeah, that's cute, but I need something with serious muscle. Enter the Triumph Rocket 3. This thing makes Harley's Softail Fat Bob look like a toy. We're talking a 2500cc triple-cylinder engine, the biggest production motorcycle engine in the world, putting out a ridiculous 165 horsepower and 163 pound-feet of torque. The moment you twist the throttle, it's like getting launched from a cannon. But here's the kicker. It's not just a straight-line monster. Thanks to Triumph's engineering magic, Rocket 3 handles way better than a bike this big has any right to. Meanwhile, Harley's bigger cruisers can sometimes feel like you're maneuvering a small boat. Number 4. Kawasaki. Take the Kawasaki Vulcan S, for example. This thing is like a cool younger cousin of the cruiser world. It's got that low-slung, laid-back vibe, but instead of a big air-cooled V-twin, you get a 649cc parallel twin that revs higher and pulls cleaner. It's got a 6-speed transmission, which means you're not hunting for gears as much as you would on some of Harley's entry-level models. And then there's the Ergo Fit system, something Harley just does not offer. You can tweak the seat, foot pegs, and handlebars to fit your height and reach, so whether you're built like a linebacker or a jockey, the bike adjusts to you. Try that on a Harley Iron 883 and see how far you get. Maybe you want something with a little more meat on its bone, something closer to Harley's Softail lineup. That's where the Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Classic rolls in. Now, we're talking a 903cc V-twin, but unlike a Harley, it's liquid-cooled. That means that you're not roasting your legs at every red light in the summer. It's also a little lighter than its Harley counterparts, which makes it easier to manage in low-speed situations. If you've ever wrestled a fully loaded Harley bagger through a parking lot, you know exactly why this matters. And for those who don't want a cruiser at all, but still like that retro aesthetic, Kawasaki's got the wild card, the Z900 RS. Think of it as their answer to the Harley Lowrider S, but instead of a big V-twin, you get a 948cc inline-4 that sings at high revs. It's got the classic teardrop tank and round headlight that give it that old-school appeal. But don't let that fool you. It's a modern performance machine. This thing is fast, responsive, and nimble in ways that a Harley just isn't built to be. Then we have the Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Vaquero. It's rocking a 1700cc liquid-cooled V-twin, which means it runs cooler and smoother than Harley's Milwaukee 8, especially when you're stuck in traffic on a hot day. But here's the catch. While it's got 107 pound-feet of torque, it's only pushing about 82 horsepower. That's decent, but compared to Harley's 114 Ci making over 100 horsepower, Vaquero starts to look a little undercooked. Not terrible, just not class-leading. Now, when it comes to riding, the Vulcan is a heavyweight bruiser at 895 pounds, so don't expect it to dance through corners. But straight-line cruising, this is where it shines. The wheelbase is long, making it feel planted on the highway, and the suspension, 45mm forks up front and air-adjustable shock in the rear, keeps it comfortable. Harley's Street Glide and Road Glide have Showa suspension that soaks up bumps a little better, but let's be real. No bagger is winning a handling competition. Braking, Kawasaki did not skim. You get a dual 300mm front disc, a single 300mm rear, and a solid ABS system. It's not going to stop on a dime, but it's predictable and strong. Harley's reflex-linked Brembo brakes are slightly sharper, but you're paying extra for that. Kawasaki gives you a good setup right out of the gate. But here's where the Vulcan starts punching above its weight. Tech. Cruise control? Check. Bluetooth? Check. USB, AM/FM radio? Check and check. All standard. Meanwhile, Harley gives you a fancy infotainment system, but only if you're ready to shell out for the upgrade. If you just want to hit the road and not think about spending more money, Vaquero wins in the gadget department. And then there's the looks. Kawasaki went for that whole blacked-out Batwing fairing hardbagger vibe. And honestly, it's not bad. It's got that muscle bike stance, it's aggressive, and it looks mean. But is it iconic? Not really. You park a Harley Street Glide next to it, and 9 times out of 10, people will gravitate towards the Harley. There's just something about that classic American style that Kawasaki can't quite replicate. Number 3. Honda's reputation for bulletproof reliability and cutting-edge tech makes it a compelling choice for those looking for an alternative to Harley-Davidson. First up, the Honda Rebel 500. This bike is for the rider who wants all the cool cruiser vibes without wrestling a heavyweight machine. It's got a 471cc parallel twin engine, smooth, predictable, and just enough power to keep things exciting without making you feel like you signed up for rodeo training. Unlike Harley's Iron 883 or Street 500, Rebel 500 actually embraces modern tech. LED lighting, better suspension, and a 6-speed transmission that won't leave you feeling like you're riding a museum piece. It's light, low to the ground, and ridiculously easy to handle. If Harley's smaller bikes feel like they're stuck in the past, the Rebel is proof that Honda's moving forward. Okay, so say you want something with a bit more bite. Enter the Honda Shadow Phantom. This bike is a solid alternative to Harley's Sportster series, bringing a slick V-twin engine that delivers enough power to handle highway speeds, but while still keeping that classic cruiser stance. The best part? It's got Honda's legendary reliability, so you're not constantly wondering if your bike's in the mood to start today. Less time in the shop, more time on the road. And for the big mile riders out there, you got the Goldwing. Harley's Road Glide and Electric Glide Ultra may have the brand clout, but Honda's Goldwing is not playing around. A massive 1833cc 6-cylinder engine means effortless power, and it rides like a cloud thanks to Honda's premium suspension setup. Plus, with features like heated grips, an adjustable windscreen, and enough storage to live off your bike for weeks, it's got everything you need for serious touring without the Harley tax on maintenance. Number 2. Yamaha. Take the Yamaha VMAX, for example. This thing, an absolute powerhouse. A 1679cc V4 engine pushing 200 HP. That is muscle bike royalty right here. Harley's Fat Boy and Lowrider S, they got the looks, sure, but VMAX plays in a whole different league. It's got a power-to-weight ratio that makes you question everything you thought you knew about cruisers. Harley's V-twins give you that deep, satisfying growl, but Yamaha's V4, it's like a muscle car that just discovered it can outpace the competition and is not afraid to show it. And let's not even get started on the handling. Traction control, refined suspension setup, Harley's still catching up in that department. But let's say you don't need something that feels like it's trying to launch itself into orbit every time you twist the throttle. Enter the Yamaha Bolt R Spec. Now, this is where things get really interesting. You'll love the stripped-down, no-nonsense look of a Harley Iron 883. The Bolt R Spec takes that and adds a level of reliability that won't have you on a first-name basis with a mechanic. A 942cc V-twin, torquey enough to make city riding a breeze, but smooth enough for long weekend rides, all while costing significantly less than Harley's entry-level cruisers. And the best part, it doesn't come with the Harley tax, that premium you just pay for the badge. But Yamaha isn't just playing in the cruiser space. Let's talk the FJR 1300. This is Yamaha looking at Harley's Road Glide and saying, that's cute, but what if we made something that actually wanted to carve up the road? A 1298cc engine, electronically adjustable suspension, cruise control, and an infotainment system that feels like it belongs in this decade. Meanwhile, Road Glide is still doing its best impression of a living room couch strapped to an engine. If you want long-distance comfort with an actual sense of performance, FJR 1300 isn't just an alternative, it is the upgrade. And if you're the type who wants a cruiser that doesn't feel like it's weighed down by tradition, Yamaha's MT lineup is calling your name. MT 107 and 09 have this aggressive modern look that's basically Yamaha saying, we see what Harley's trying to do for younger riders and we're doing it better. Light, nimble, packing serious power, these bikes aren't trying to be cruisers, they are trying to be the future. So why is Yamaha the best alternative to Harley in 2025? Because they give you the best of both worlds. Power, tech, reliability, and price tags that don't make your wallet cry. Whether you want a muscle bike like the VMAX, a stylish and affordable cruiser like the Bolt R Spec, or a sport touring beast like the FJR 1300, Yamaha has got you covered. Number 1. Suzuki. Now, if you've been riding for a while, you already know Harley-Davidson sits on the throne when it comes to American cruisers. But what if you want the power, the attitude, and the performance without that hefty price tag? Enter Suzuki. Let's start with the big boy, the Boulevard M109R. This thing is an absolute unit. With a 1783cc V-twin engine, it kicks out a ridiculous 127 horsepower and 121 pound-feet of torque. That's not just power, it's hold-on-for-dear-life kind of power. It's got that low-slung, menacing stance, a massive rear tire that looks like it belongs on a drag strip, and enough muscle to go head-to-head with Harley's Fat Bob or Lowrider S. And the ride is smooth when you need it, aggressive when you want it. Harley makes you pay premium prices for this level of performance, but Suzuki just hands it to you with a smile. That's where the Suzuki Boulevard C50 comes in. Big cruiser vibes, smooth power delivery, and a price tag that won't make you break out in a cold sweat. At just $92.99, it delivers nearly everything a Harley Softail offers, but at almost half the cost. The C50 runs on an 805 liquid-cooled V-twin, pumping out 53 horsepower and 53 pound-feet of torque. It's strong enough to cruise highways effortlessly, yet easy enough to control in city traffic. Unlike some air-cooled competitors, its liquid cooling keeps it from running hot and gridlock. And thanks to fuel injection, the throttle response stays sharp, whether you're rolling through town or merging on the freeway. Weighing in at 611 pounds, the C50 isn't exactly a featherweight, but it carries itself well. The 27-inch seat makes it approachable, letting most riders plant both feet on the ground at stops. Plus, wide handlebars, a cushy seat, and floorboards make for a relaxed, long-haul friendly ride. Suspension setup, telescopic forks up front, and a link-type rear soak up road imperfections, keeping things smooth without sacrificing control. Braking? Simple but effective. A 290mm front disc delivers a solid stopping power, while a rear drum brake keep things low maintenance. And speaking of low maintenance, the C50 shaft drive means no greasy chains or constant adjustment. Just twist the throttle and ride. Looks-wise, the Boulevard C50 nails that classic cruiser aesthetic. Deep fenders, a wide fuel tank, staggered dual exhausts, it's got that old-school charm locked down. Chrome accents against glossy paint, chef's kiss. A 4.1-gallon teardrop tank gives you solid range, so you won't be hunting for gas stations every few miles. But what if you want a bike that does it all? Enter the Suzuki V-Strom. Not a cruiser, but stick with me. With a 645cc V-twin, it's got just the right amount of power. Light enough to maneuver easily, but strong enough to keep things fun. It's Suzuki's answer to the Harley Pan America, but without the heavyweight bulk or the better call your bank price tag.